Alright, so I said yesterday I was going to try to do a setup video on my saddle setup and how I get up the tree and all that kind of stuff. And I got home and my neighbor was mowing and all that, so I couldn't. Normally when I get out in the woods I would pick a bigger tree than this, but this is just what's in my backyard, so I'm going to show you on it. So when I get up to the tree, the first thing I do is I lay my bow down because I carry it in. I've got all my stuff on my pack just like this. So when I get to the tree, I go ahead and pull it off, unstrap my sticks off my pack, Alright, now I've got two that have the paracord loops, and they're the ones that hook into my saddle that I can carry up the tree with me. I'm probably not going to go up 4. I'll probably go up 2 or 3 just to kind of give you an idea, but I'll show you how I do it. So once I got my sticks off the saddle, I go ahead and I unhook my platform. And I've got a paracord loop tied on it too, and a carabiner right dead center of the back of my saddle. And so I hook it on. Find the 2 sticks with the paracord loops. Hook those on either side of the saddle. And those are just cheap Dollar Tree carabiners. It ain't got to be nothing expensive. It's not holding any weight or keeping you from dying. So it's not a big deal if they're cheap ones. And that's when I'll take my bow, and I've got a piece of paracord tied to my quiver so that once I get up in the tree I can hang it. I'll show you that in a minute. So I'll take my bow and I'll put it on the front of this backpack like I showed in one of my other videos, and just wrap my wings around it that are on the pack. Slip it on. I usually won't hook the waist belt for that. For this part, I just hook the chest belt so that nothing slides off. Like I said, usually we'll do 4 sticks, but for video purposes here, since I can't carry a camera and go up the tree all at the same time, we're gonna do it like this today. So I put my first stick about nose height, somewhere right in there, so when it sets, it's at the right height. Wrap this, you go behind, you go underneath the knot, under the button, and behind it. So you just pull it tight, and then you can do the half hitch thing. You don't really have to, now that I've fixed my button on it, but I'll do it anyway. Go ahead and do the half hitch, cinch that down, hold your steps out, fix the garden hose in the bottom here, and set the stick. Now usually I'll take this extra and just slip it down through there so it's not blowing around so much. I know I should probably have my lyman's belt on already, but generally I don't. Once I get up on the first stick is when I go ahead and hook up my lyman's belt. I'm pretty comfortable with that. If I fall off the first stick, I'll probably just bounce. I don't think it's going to kill me. So I go ahead, throw my lyman's belt, alright, so now I'm set. Now I'm hands free. So I go on up to the top of that first step, hook my lyman's belt, and that's when I'll get my first stick. Actually this would be, normally if I'm climbing and hunting, this would be my 3rd stick, because I'll usually hunt off of 4. Same deal, set it at nose height, grab it, go under the knot and behind it, and then just cinch it down like that. You do your half hitch. I think that's what it's called anyway. Alright. Feed the rest of your rope back here behind, kind of keep it out of the way. Set your stick. Now usually as I'm setting the sticks, I'll pull the slack out and keep it kind of tight to the tree. When I go to climb, I'll let some of the slack out. It gives me more room to lean back and get higher up on get a better foothold on my step. Alright, so this is about as high as I can get and still be able to film this. So I'm going to go ahead and unhook this other stick and just kind of drop it down there. Like I said, normally right now I would be 4 feet or 4 sticks high. So what I'll go ahead and do is once I'm at this height, say I'm at my top stick, I'll go ahead and unhook my platform. Well, there we go. So I unhook my platform. I'll just go ahead. And like I said, usually I'll hunt bigger trees so I won't have all this extra rope. I did this because on the public land I hunt, there's a whole lot of mature trees and they're huge. And sometimes there's a couple spots I hunted last season where that was the only tree that I could get in, was these big huge trees. And even at 22 feet up in the air, the little short strap that comes with this tethered platform, it just wouldn't get around them. So I ended up, that was the reasoning for doing the rope mod on the platform itself. So what I like to do when I'm setting my platform is I'll use my lyman's belt to hold it. So I'll set it up where I want to, and then I use my lyman's belt like that to hold it, so that I've still got both hands. And you got to make sure if you're doing that, when you come around the tree, that you're not running this over top of your lyman's belt or getting it tangled up in there some kind of way. Run it around just like the sticks, under and behind. Cinch it down like that. Now that's going to get it pretty tight, and you can go ahead and take the slack off of your lyman's belt with it. And what I like to do is I'll set my platform level, pretty close to level with the top of this stick, especially when you're hunting bigger trees. So once you get this, we'll go ahead and do the half hitch on it. And set that down. Like I said, normally I'm not hunting such a small tree, so I don't have all this extra rope, but we'll wrap it up and tuck it like that out of the way for now. But so what I like to do is I'm going up this second step, and I'll pull that platform, I'll cam it up, I'll pull it up like that, push down, and then by the time you cam it, it's pretty close to level with that, the top of that step. So at this point, I'll go on up, still using my lyman's belt, step around onto this platform, and that's when I'll go ahead and pull out my tether strap, my tree tether, and I use that Ropeman 1 on it. So I like to put it about forehead height. So when you set your tether, all of this junk, your carabiner, your Ropeman, all that stuff has to come through this loop. So you get all that stuff set through the loop. pull it tight. Now what I like to do is make sure that it's that where this comes out of that loop, it's pretty much in line with the post on my platform. That kind of keeps it from pulling you one direction or the other. So then I'll just cinch this up, pull my bridge out, which I keep tucked in my waistband while I'm climbing so it's not getting hung on steps and stuff like that. So pull it up. Go ahead and hook in with your bridge. Now once you pull up enough slack to get the weight, get the tension off of your lineman belt, then you can go ahead and unhook it from your lineman's belt. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll wad all this mess up and just drop it down in my dump pouch down here. And then in this front pocket, there's a couple of pockets on this style of pouch that I got for my tether platform. I'm in my saddle. So you go ahead and I keep my hip strap in one of those. So I'll go ahead and wrap it. Cinch it down. And I like the tail of it, actually, to be over here on my right side. Because that's the side I'm going to hang my backpack on. Alright, so once I get that set up, then I'll go ahead and unhook my backpack. Now on my backpack, on the strap, I've got a little homemade bow hanger that I made that's hooked to a carabiner. I'll just pull that off and I'll go ahead and hang it right there because I keep my bow on the left side of the tree. So I'll pull my pack around and hang it in one of these loops on this hip strap. Because I like it to be around knee height or something on the side of the tree. It's just kind of out of my way if I need to get around there and make a shot on that side. Now this is just a cheap, I think it's like $10 at Walmart. It's actually a butt pad. It's a seat pad for if you're hunting out of a ladder stand, so your butt doesn't get sore. Now on my Predator pack, it comes with these little bitty thin backpack straps, which I thought were kind of useless because I was hooking my Predator pack onto my backpack with the molly loops on the front of it. But it actually worked out pretty good because I can use it to hang my knee pad from. And it's adjustable. So I can hook my knee pad in one of the loops, hook my strap in there, and then I can lower or raise my knee pad. Instead of wearing knee pads in that strap around your knees and all that kind of stuff, they make my legs sweat real bad. It'll rub your legs raw. So I just use it like this. And then you can pull it up to however you need it. It's pretty easily adjustable. So that's actually a little high. So that if you want to put your knees against the tree, you got that pad. And it's always there. Alright. So at this point, I've got my bow hanger up. I'm almost ready to hunt. I'll go ahead and hold on to my bow. Unstrap it from my backpack. And now I keep a lot of extra carabiners just hooked random places on this backpack. Because one of them I'm going to use to put this quiver on. So I go ahead, and what I do is I just hang this hook through my cam on my bow and just hang it off the side there. And then I'll take this paracord loop that I've got, I'll hook this carabiner in it, and then I can come around and hook it on my hip strap. And then I've got it just hanging on the front of the tree out of the way. So now you're set up, ready to go. You've got your pad for your knees. your backpack's hung, like everything is on the tree now. And if I was gonna, like I said, I keep all those extra carabiners because I've got, normally I'll have this set up to where I'll have a rangefinder hanging from it. Usually I've got my grunt call and stuff around my neck if I need it, but I'll keep my rangefinder and stuff on it too. So, and the reason I set this platform at the top of this step is so that, especially on bigger trees, when you've got to get around to make a shot, you can just walk around the tree. You just step over onto that step, and so then it's like you've got a platform, you know, that's essentially this wide, because you've got all this covered. And then you've got your step over here, and I'll space them out too. This is just such a small tree, I didn't really cover all that, but I'll space them out so that I can get further around the tree, and it gives you a whole lot more shot opportunities around the tree. And you got 2 points of contact right there, 3 if you count your tether line. So that's how I get set up in the tree. Now I'm going to go ahead and do everything in reverse, come down so you can kind of see that. But that's pretty much it. So when I get ready to come down after the hunt, it's just the reverse of everything I just did. Go ahead, put your quiver back on your bow, all that good stuff. Go ahead and take your carabiner off because I don't want it beating and banging around. And I'll just hang it on my pack. Like I said, I've got all these, I just keep random carabiners hanging on my backpack in places for this. Now I'll go ahead and hook this back up on my backpack just like I had it. So what I'll do is I'll run this through like that, and then I'll run this other wing around this side, and there's a hole in the wing, so I'll actually put my sight through there, and that kind of helps, gives it an little extra stability so I know it's not going anywhere. Let's snap all that back in. Unhook this, and see what I usually do, this carabiner that's on the top of my pack, that's where I snap this butt pad in so that I've got it when I get ready to use it. Then I'll just kind of take everything down, roll it all up, and then I'll stick it back in all these little pockets around the sides, the outside of this dump pouch. Like I said, same thing as going up. Just took that chest strap. Then I'll come around, unhook my hip strap. And normally I'll roll it up a little better than this, but for the sake of time, I don't know how long this video is getting into, but I'll go ahead and just kind of wad it up today and stick it down in that pouch. Alright, now this is the part where you want to pull your lyman's belt back out. Back around the tree, hook back into the other loop on your saddle for your lyman's belt, and I'll pull it pretty tight and get the tension off of my tether line. And this tether line, like, you don't have to buy all those expensive ropes from Tether. I didn't, just because I'm cheap mostly. I bought my wife had bought me a harness for the hang-on stand I was using earlier in the season, and so this tether line actually came with that harness. So I already had it. It came with 2 carabiners that are climbing rated, so I just used them. I thought, well, I've already got the tether line. All I really needed was a lyman's belt. And so when I ordered the rope to do the aiders on the bottom of my climbing stick steps, I went on ahead and made me a lyman's belt out of it too. It was 10mm rope, and with the weight rating on it, it was like 3,400 pounds or something, or 3,000 pounds. That's more than enough to hold me in a tree. But so what I do with this bridge before I come down or before I go up is I'll just push it down behind the waist belt. Just pull it like that so it's not getting hung on a lot of stuff. And then start down the tree. And it's the exact same thing in reverse. Just pull all this out. Like I said, usually I don't have quite this much slack on my rope, or extra tagging on the rope, but because I usually will hunt a bigger tree than this, unless I just don't have a choice and the spot calls for just a small tree. But I just cam that up, pull the tension off of it. And with this, what I do is I just leave the rope hooked to the platform, and I just wrap it around. And then when I get to this end, I'll just tie it up on the platform itself. So that's good. Take my paracord. And once you do this a lot, it all gets pretty easy. I can do it in the dark with no problems. You just hook it on back there. Step into your aider, and you want to keep your toe up against that tree pretty good, and that keeps you solid when you're using those aiders on these sticks. Now these jokers, like I said, when you pull this around and cinch it down, the way I've shaved these buttons down to 5/16 of an inch, I told about that in one of my other videos. I mean, they're on there. You literally have to pull off the bottom of the tree. Like, you're not pulling that. You're not gonna undo that rope. Like, it's in there. So you literally gotta pull off on the stick a little, give it a little twist, and then you can loosen it up. And that takes the tension off the rope so that you can pull it off like that. And what I'll do is I'll wrap it like this around this tree cleat, just around the outside, 2 runs like that, and that's 8 feet of rope. And it's literally wrapped twice, and then just tie you a little knot, just like that. And then I'll take my aider, run my step over to the side, just pull it up over the button like that, hook it right back in my carabiner. And that's all there is to it once you're on the ground. So hook your lyman's belt, roll it back up, tuck it into that jump pouch on the side there. And I'm going to show you how I pack up my backpack too, to head in and out. So what I'll do once I'm on the ground is I'll go ahead and take that pack off. Swing it around, and I'll lay it down. Just unbuckle that bow, or gun, or crossbow, whatever I'm carrying that time, and lay it off to the side. Go ahead and take my platform off, and slide it. And see, I've got my predator pack on this. I've actually got my predator pack hooked to the front of my backpack, and you can see all the extra. I got little carabiners everywhere, but I've got it hooked to the back. There's molly webbing across this Alpine Outdoor Z, or whatever it is, Alps Outdoor Z backpack. There's molly webbing rows across the front, and so I hooked it in just like you hook your dump pouch on your saddle. It's the exact same setup. And so I just hook it on the front, put my platform back in my predator pack, and that keeps it. See, I was strapping the platform with these, but this stuff's kind of like spandex material, and the sides of this platform are so aggressive that it was kind of cutting into them, and I was afraid it would mess it up, so I ordered this predator pack. Then I could just pull it over, and there's a loop on here you just hook it into, and then cinch it down, and it's not going anywhere. And that's when you go ahead and start getting ready to pack all this stuff up. Now, on the sides of this backpack, you got two little buckle straps. One of them doesn't actually undo all the way. I wish it did, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and take this step off the tree. It's just like before. Roll it around twice. And then what I do is I pull all the rope together and tie that knot around it. That just keeps anything from flopping around or any of that stuff. And what I do on this pack is my two that have the paracord loops, I'll keep them together, and the two that don't, because the two that have the paracord loops are the two that I hook to my saddle, and they go up to the top of me. They're the last two steps. And so I'll take those two and I'll put them together, the two with the loops. Snap my sticks together, and what I do is I'll turn them like this, and I'll feed the feet through first in this pack and this bottom strap, and I'll run them down the pack until the top buckle comes right up and under this bolt, and that kind of helps hold them too. And you just buckle that, cinch it down tight, and then you can cinch your bottom strap up good. Plus, if you run it down like that and you cinch it just underneath that button, it keeps these where they're not way up over your back catching limbs and stuff. I don't really have a problem with them. They don't hang down far enough to worry about them catching going in. And I wear my saddle into the woods, which is another thing I talked about in one of my other videos. I like about this tethered minnow because it's made out of that cordura, and it's not the manus. It's not that mesh stuff that I'm afraid would tear up on briars and stuff like that. And where I hunt, there's a lot of them. So just roll this around. Do the same thing on this side as you did on the other side. Run your feet through that loop on the bottom. Pull it around and strap it just underneath this bolt. And then cinch that down good. And then basically, once you get it all cinched in good, it's like your pack's got legs. It'll pretty much, you just stand it up, clean that joker up, you got everything cleaned up, everything's good to go and packed up. And I usually just let this pad hang off the front right there. It doesn't seem to bother anything. And then when I'm actually walking, packing this stuff in and out, I'll buckle the chest strap and the waist buckle, just because it keeps it tight to me. And then I carry my bow in my hand. And it's just like that, in and out of the woods, up the tree in one trip. You don't got to worry about no pull-up ropes or any of that stuff. And I've used pull-up ropes, and I still keep one in my pack, because last year, at the time, I hadn't figured out how to get my crossbow up the tree on my backpack. I wasn't thinking about this backpack having a drop down pouch that you could put the stock in and then using the wings to go around the crossbow. So I still pulled it up with the pull-up rope, but now I figured out how to do that, so now I don't even really need it, but it's there if I do. But as you can see, everything's set up like this. It's easy. It doesn't weigh a whole lot of nothing. I mean, when you hook those straps up, it's way better than walking through the woods carrying your backpack, which you would already be carrying, your sticks, which you would already be carrying, and then a hang-on stand, which you're figuring is, depending on what you use. Like I said, I'm cheap, so I had a game winner hang-on stand, and it's like 30 pounds or something. So you figure an extra 30 pounds on top of everything that you're already carrying in the woods anyway. So basically, I traded that 30-pound stand for this saddle, which is next to nothing. And so that's it. That's all you got to do. Thanks for watching.